Now, there's no doubt about it that by far the two most anticipated Star Wars TV shows of 2023 is indeed The Mandalorian Season 3 as well as the Ahsoka Tano series for multiple reasons. They're going to have a lot of surprises and revelations involved, and it's really going to have a lot of that mythology of the franchise that so many fans love and enjoy. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about, of course, the new universe between both George, John, and Dave is that they are finding a way to regulate both Legends and the existing Disney canon and how that's going to be able to coexist. Now, we already know that Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, including the board members over at Disney, have a big plan of essentially resetting the Skywalker Saga in a very unique way by really kind of rewriting the lore of what Disney initially had established and kind of just reformatting everything. And that's not to say that they're erasing 7, 8, and 9 from canon completely, but that they will be resetting the Skywalker Saga, and Jon Favreau was able to elaborate on all of this, most recently when he was questioned about Mando Season 3 and 4. So we'll be tapping into that in just a second. Now, the thing about Favreau is that Bob Iger even said before in the past that he believes that he is the next George Lucas because he sees a lot of George within him, creatively speaking, and of course in spirit, the way that he writes, the way that he directs and produces. Jon Favreau really is like George Lucas 2.0 to an extent. Now, with that being said and all, what Favreau recently had to say is very important because with Disney CEO Bob Iger getting ready to make drastic changes over at Disney, both Favreau and Filoni are also getting ready to make some announcements at Star Wars Celebration. However, in a recent interview with Jon Favreau, he was questioned about Disney's plan on resetting the Skywalker Saga. Now, Favreau went on to state the following to the fans. Well, yeah, I think with this franchise, it's always great to create some change, and I think it's perfectly okay in today's age. It's something that we need to do with the saga. We are looking at how we can rewrite that bridge, that takes place between the sequels and the originals, and how Disney has agreed with us to hang up some of the older ideas of things like Luke Skywalker's past, the Solo family, and all those characters, and how we are going to actually write it our way. You see, originally Disney wanted to stay away from Legends for the events between 6 and 7. And so, yeah, we are resetting the saga to a certain level and respect. Now, I want to just stop right here for a second of what Favreau is saying. Now, basically what he's saying, what he's alluding to is Disney had a concrete plan for the Skywalker Saga's lore and what comes in between the originals and the sequels. So basically, initially Disney wanted Luke to never have a child, to never have a love interest, no marriage, no anything like that, no adult Jedi students, nothing like that to that extent. Basically, no Star Wars Legends in the books, the comics, and how that would be transferred over into live action. Now, that's being flipped over, all thanks to John and Dave, where basically all of those things that you love about Legends are going to become canon, such as Luke having a child, Luke getting married, or having some kind of love interest. We already know that Mara Jade is going to have a big cameo in Mando 4 by actress Karen Gillan. We talked about this for months, and it is happening still to this day. And there's just a lot of things that they are trying to build upon that Disney initially did not want to do. Alright, so either this translates to Bob Iger getting very desperate, or heading into damage control, I guess, is all up for discussion. But I think that also, this is John and Dave's chance to really kind of take full control of their passion and kind of just let the fans have a lot of fun, become very satisfied, and a lot more. Now, moving on from all of this, what's even more important to know is that Kathleen Kennedy is not going to be able to interfere with any of these developments, which is nice. Number one, Bob Iger wants her out by August. Number two, Kennedy only has control over 2 shows, Skeleton and, of course, Acolyte. Only those 2 shows. Now, thirdly, Alright? Kathleen Kennedy has no control over the budgeting as much for the Star Wars shows. A lot of that has now fallen into the hands of both Favreau and Filoni, thankfully. And that gives us another advantage. So, moving on from all of this, alright, Favreau goes on to say, we are doing things that Disney originally never wanted to do. You can expect all the things that you love about Luke in Legends to appear at some point, and even some of the famous Legends characters, and how they are going to make an impact in the sequel trilogy lore. It's more so how the stories myself and Dave tell are going to impact the sequels and even some of the other Star Wars shows we have in the works. Now, separate from what Favreau stated, this all is alluding to Luke getting married to Mara Jade, having, of course, some kind of relationship with her, having a son, a new war, and more revelations on the horizon that will impact sequel trilogy lore. It's stuff like that. Now, we already know that a lot of Legends books, like the Thrawn trilogy, is going to be used as source material for the Ahsoka series, and that the World Between Worlds is going to be used to reset also elements of the saga in a literal sense. And I think that at the end of the day too, here, what you can expect is John and Dave to just do what they have to do to bring Legends back, right? It's going to be a very slow process, but this year, 2023, is their year. This is their year to prove themselves with Mando 3 and Ahsoka, and hopefully their work can be seen in Skeleton Crew, because we already know that they basically are trying to patch that show and fix some certain scenes. So I think that you're going to have a couple of different tones in that show, where you're going to have layers of Kathleen Kennedy's work and layers of John and Dave's work being seen in Skeleton Crew. Same exact thing goes for Acolyte, by the way. You know, they're only patching a couple of scenes here and there. So this whole piece on resetting the Skywalker Saga, to put things more simple, is that they're basically course correcting the timeline. As of now, the timeline as it stands in the saga, Luke never had a child, Luke never got married, Luke never had any kind of love interest with Mara Jade or anything like that, or any kind of adult Jedi students that we actually know and love from Legends. A lot of that is going to be thrown in to the canon, and how that's going to impact the storytelling or the lore or the canon, whatever have you, of the sequel trilogy movies, and how they're going to be able to actually create new meaning of certain scenes in episodes 7 through 9. So there's a lot of things coming out of this. It's going to be a very, hopefully not a messy scenario. It's going to take time, it's going to take a lot of work ethic, and really, you know, a lot of patience on John and Dave's part, especially with the fans too. You know, we already know that they're working on over 10 years worth of Star Wars projects. Just let that sink in for a moment there. These guys are dedicating their lives, and I think that we all have to respect them for that. So, anyways guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.